So, Dr. Dan, Bevan and I thought we would definitely see some anti-aging benefits from regrowing mitochondria.
Yeah, and I would have thought that too, especially in like the heart muscle, the brain, the skeleton muscles, and but I wouldn't have thought I'd see it in all the different ways that we have.
Yeah, a real good example of that is Dr. Connie Lee. So let's uh, let's listen to my interview with Dr. Connie Lee.
Okay, I got the pleasure of talking to Dr. Connie Lee. Connie, please tell me what you've noticed change since you've been using Mito.
Everything. I feel better. I feel younger. I'll be 87 in August, but I feel like I'm in my early 60s. My blood pressure was way, way too low. It's now normal. My blood sugar was way, way too low, and it's now 5.0 with the A1C. When I had the blood work done, all of my blood work was right in the normal range. Not a thing was out of line anywhere. The doctor was amazed, and I haven't taken any of my 5 medications since I started. Restored February 10th. I had terrible constipation since I was in the 5th grade, and that's been resolved now. My eyesight has gotten better. That got better the first day. My hearing is better. I don't have to have stronger hearing aids.
I just heard you say that your eyesight changed the first day. So take me back to that. Tell me what your eyesight was like before, and then how you noticed it was different.
Well, when you play cards with a table of 6 people, I could see the cards across the table, but I wasn't sure what they were. I knew they were red or black. And the next day, I could tell what they were. That made the difference.
It's like Mito like flipped a switch in your vision.
Yeah, that was overnight. I took it at
Wow.
3 in the afternoon, and that was by the next evening. That was the difference I noticed. When I went to my ophthalmologist, that was first part of May, I guess. They can't find any problem in the back of my eye anymore.
There was a problem in the back of your eye, right?
They discovered it, almost 2.5, 3 years ago, and they'd been watching it every few months. But this time when I saw them, there's no problem there.
So it sounds like your retina has improved, that improving your mitochondria has allowed your body to fix your vision there.
And then I was able to go into Costco and pick up 3 pair of glasses that are 1.125,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I can see real good with those. And I've had Coke bottle glasses since I was in about the 3rd grade.
Oh, how cool is that?
I think it's pretty cool. Okay.
So, Dr. Connie Lee came to us. She was almost 88 years old, and typical signs of aging, right? She gets on our product. I think she starts in March with us, and in the first day, her vision changes immediately. And we see this, happen commonly. Most frequently, it will happen a little bit later than that. Sometimes a little bit faster, but organs have a lot of mitochondria, so they really respond. The other thing that happened was that her overall energy greatly improved. We heard her say that. And this retina issue that she'd had for 2 or 3 years, on her next checkup 2 months later, it's gone. Okay, so retina has repaired itself. The low blood sugar and the low blood pressure, we were greatly enthusiastic about seeing that, because most people have high blood pressure. We didn't know what would happen. In the case of low blood pressure, we saw her normalize, and subsequently we've seen the same thing with others. We had a couple, one had low blood pressure, one had high blood pressure, and the one with high blood pressure, the blood pressure came down, one with low blood pressure came up. So we're seeing this adaptogenic, benefit. The other thing is, a lot of these issues that people have, they've had for a long time. She is saying that she had a constipation issue since she was in the 5th grade. Now, approaching 88, it goes away. Just from being on Mito for couple, or, being on Mito a couple of weeks or a month or so like that, it's gone. Improved hearing. She apparently was wearing a hearing aid, doesn't have to get a stronger hearing aid, and that's something we noticed too. People with hearing aids started hearing better. So that was a validation for us that given that your organs have a lot of mitochondria, that's where the highest concentrations are. If we're going to regrow mitochondria, you should see it in the organ health. And in this instance, we did. Also, she's on 5 medications altogether when she starts this, and now she's not on any.
Well, every organ you have takes energy to run. When you have lost that energy, and nothing works well. But when you regain the energy, everything starts working like it's meant to. So it's just natural that we see this kind of regeneration, but we never thought it would be this dramatic and this dynamic.
Yeah, this quickly. Now let's fast forward in the Connie Lee story. So now I do an interview with Connie 5 months later. Okay, this is in August, right? 5 months later. And in that interview, she reports that her hair starts falling out and that the pads that she was wearing for the last 4 years for a bladder problem, she doesn't need anymore, right? A lot of people as they get older, they have urinary issues.
Well, for some reason, after I started with the brain and body, my hair quit falling out. And I could put my hand through my hair and have a handful of hair time after time after time. And it's now quit falling out. And you can see my scalp, it's just I got a pink scalp everywhere. And so I was so happy that helped the brain, in fact, quit losing that hair. But I've got a couple of other things that have happened also along with that. My teeth the bumps in my mouth are bigger. And something is happening that my partial is miserable. It is so tight. My dentures don't want to stay in. So I'm going to have to go see the dentist and see what he can do with what's going on. And maybe with x-rays they'll see if there's new teeth coming in or what. But those bumps are getting larger. And another thing that's happened with the brain and body is my bladder is working much better, and I'm not going to need pads anymore that I've been using for 4 years. So I am thrilled with that new product. And I've been on the product now for about 7 months to restore and rejuvenate. So I'm extremely happy, and I thank you very much for such a wonderful company.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for giving us that report. It's so interesting to see that brain and body kind of was a tipping point for you with your hair. Have you been putting Restore in your hair also?
Not restore, but I've been putting.
I'm sorry, I meant rejuvenate.
But I didn't start putting that in my hair until after it quit falling out for some reason. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
so
now I'm putting it in there. So maybe I'm going to start growing some now.
Right. So that's what we've been learning. That is what people report. You put that in your hair, it grows hair too. So you got the brain and body stop it from falling out. Now we put the rejuvenate in there and let's grow it back. Okay?
I'm ready.
All right. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very, very common. And to think that the mitochondria in the bladder made it tighten up, I guess, or able to deal with the volume better. But whatever it was, the mitochondria made it function like it did when she was younger.
Yeah.
And the hair, that's interesting. And the hair stopped falling out. Now that's a very interesting fact. There's going to be a lot of reasons her hair was falling out, but whatever, this more mito works from a lot of different directions. And to see that happen, that's one of those unexpected things that we weren't really thinking about when we thought about mitochondria.
Yeah, there's certainly nothing we put in there specifically for that. Okay. All right, now. So let's go forward then. to January of the following year. Actually, this happened in December. I recorded it in January. She is having an issue with her hearing. She's actually lost a hearing some hearing in her right ear, and she gets these Q-tips because there's some black stuff coming out of her ear. So she gets a Q-tip and starts digging in her ear to get this stuff out. And you'll hear her say that she's going through like 6 Q-tips 3 times a day, digging this black stuff out of her ear. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we've seen other people report their hearing replaced, but now this is getting into anti-parasitic benefits because that's what it was. It turned out to be parasites that were coming out of her ear.
One of the things that happened between Thanksgiving and Christmas was unusual. I lost the hearing in my right ear, and I started getting a whole bunch of black stuff out of that ear to the tune of 6 Q-tips, both ends, with black stuff on them 3 times a day. And it was not pus, and it was more liquid stuff, and part of it was pieces of stuff. And I didn't have any hearing, but I just kept getting all that stuff out. And I showed one of them, just one Q-tip, to my daughter. Mom, you got to see a doctor. Well, I didn't. But anyway, after Christmas, I finally started getting a little bit of hearing back, and each day I'm getting a little more hearing back in my ear. But I'm not getting any more black stuff out. But I don't know if it was parasites that were in my ear or my brain or whatever, but something changed, and I think it was a healing crisis of some kind. But I'm so thankful that too is now gone. But my hearing is back to normal again. That was a blessing, I think.
You just don't know until you try this stuff. You know, it's hard to describe. So, thank you for sharing that, Dr. Connie.
Well, we know that some of the oils that she's taken, the Restore product, are very anti-parasitic. But I never thought about the parasites shutting off her hearing in that ear until she told us that as she removed the parasites, her hearing started coming back in that ear.
The fact that the XDS technology is amplifying that black seed oil and that olive oil in there, clearly a factor, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so too. Because I've taken olive oil and I've taken olive leaf for years. Black seed I've only been taking for a little while, but still the XDS technology, being able to get it into the parasites where the parasites go, oop, no, I'm out of here. I'm dead. I don't want to go on.
Okay, Dr. Dan. So let's fast forward now to 9 months later, September 2025. She has had these aneurysms. She had 3 aneurysms in her heart. Goes to the doctor. Doctors report that 2 of these aneurysms are gone.
I am now 88, and I feel like I'm just barely 60. But I did have 3 aneurysms, and the last time they did the angiogram, it only showed I have 1 aneurysm now instead of 3. So something's happened with more mito, restoring my heart a little bit more all the time.
Yes.
I also have a son that's 64 years old that had problems with the carotid, and they did an angiogram on him yesterday. He's 64. He got his product August 29th. And yesterday they did the angiogram, and he said somehow or another the blood found another path, so he doesn't have to have a stent put in.
Oh.
He just got his more mito product August 29th. So that was a pretty rapid response, I think.
Yeah. Well, Mito wonders never cease.
Absolutely. Thank you ever so much for having such a great company.
And thank you, Dr. Connie, for sharing.
Well, an aneurysm is a bulge in the blood vessels caused by a weakness in the vessel wall. So when you strengthen, just like you strengthen your muscles with mitochondria, I can see where the lining of the arteries, especially since they're lined with muscle, when they strengthen, then the artery has a chance to come back to normal and normalize that aneurysm. So it makes sense. But again, it's one of these things we wouldn't expect until someone like Connie Lee told us what happened to her.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we always thought the regrowing mitochondria would matter. We don't focus on conditions where the way I said it, we don't do conditions, we do mitochondria. Because just bringing back the mitochondria injury, that's the grand experiment. What would people report changing in their health if we just restored the mitochondrial energy and then let the body do the repair, right? That's why we don't claim to cure any diseases or conditions where our total focus is on mitochondria.
Right. We're feeding the mitochondria in a way that it hadn't been able to be fed before, or at least not as a person gets older. Just like a person becomes insulin insensitive, the cells become blocking nutrients coming in. Well, the XDS technology brings the nutrients into the mitochondria, and then everything changes.
Wow. Yes.